Hi, James Humphrey here with the Associates Productions Movie Reviews. To my left here, I have Patrick Ryan, stand-up comedian.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here, man. I'm excited.
Good. And so today's topic is the movie Nobody.
Yes.
Bob Odenkirk.
Yes.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I'm a big Bob Odenkirk fan, and I don't want to say anything bad. I feel like this is a great review for us to do simply because I feel like if you read the description and look at Bob Odenkirk, you're like, I don't know what this movie's going to be. It skirts a line that definitely could have been a bad movie.
Well, here's my thing. I think this is his first film being the main character.
Yeah, fun fact about Bob Odenkirk, he actually had said years ago he never wanted to be the main character or anything.
Yeah, he's done a lot of supporting roles, stuff like that.
And writer, he's behind the scenes on so much.
And then I believe this is his first actual action movie where he trained, did his own stunts, things in that nature. And so, dude's like 50, right? Like 55.
He's gotta be. I should know that, but no.
He's most definitely up there.
He's been around for a while. I mean, you go back to Bob and Tom, or not Bob and Tom. Yeah, Bob and Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Years ago. He's been in sketch comedy, and then he obviously wrote for SNL.
Yeah.
And not Bob and Tom. What was David Cross's show?
Yeah, there he is.
I'm trying to think of the name of it. Had it and I blanked on him. Sorry.
He's been in and out of so many.
Somebody's yelling at
so
right
many
now.
different TV shows, so many different genres, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's
mostly comedy though. Mostly comedy though. And so,
brilliant comedy writer.
To see him play an action role is actually kind of funny.
It is.
To me, anyway.
He pulled it off.
Yeah, he played it off really,
I won't
really
bury
good.
the lead. He pulled that off.
And so, overall, I think the movie is decent. I don't want to say.
I go stronger than that. I actually really enjoy the movie.
I mean, it's a good movie, but there's some discrepancies.
It's one of those movies you have to talk your friends into watching. Because again, they see it, they read the description,
and it didn't get a lot of hype as much as I thought it should.
No, it's actually surprising that HBO didn't push it harder.
I don't think it was in theaters very long.
I don't think it was in theaters at all, was it?
No, it was in theaters for maybe 2 weeks or something like that. But I don't think it was like a box office hit.
Because I'll be honest, I got it on HBO.
But yeah, that's what I seen it. I mean, I remember wanting to see it in theaters, and it was in and out of theaters so quickly that I didn't even get a chance to see it in theaters.
That's a good one. Turn on HBO, pour a drink, do whatever you do.
So I finally saw the movie, and it's sad to say that the story, even though it's different from majority of your other action films, it's almost like it's been done before.
It's definitely been done.
You got a CEI or CSI guy.
Yeah.
CIA guy, whatever.
CIA, like special ops. He was a killer.
Yeah, he's in the game for too long.
Yep.
Wants to get the family, wants to get out.
Wants that normal life.
Out, but then he gets that little itch to go back in there and do some weird shit.
Well, I don't know how far we're going to spoil this, right? Are we able to just talk about the movie fully?
Talk about the movie.
Okay, because, I mean, yeah, he definitely, when that movie starts out, the break-in happens, he seems like the kind of guy, I assumed he was going to get cheated on by his wife. I'm going to be honest with you. He is the epitome beta, that's what he's playing, and then you find out, 20 minutes in or whatever, oh no, he's, suppressing a lot of, I could kill a lot of people right now very easily. And just, man, the way he spins off and just flips that switch in him, I think.
I will say this. I was surprised that nobody got kidnapped. Nobody got kidnapped throughout the entire film. Well, I guess he got kidnapped toward kind of there. But that's
they get a hold of him, and then
that's
the cliche breaking, dislocating the thumb, the slide.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cliche things in there, but again, I feel like he skirted it perfectly to where I'm like, it is familiar, but also I like what you're doing here, Bob.
And then action-wise, action was good. The action is what kept me very interested because it got a lot of John Wick, feel to it, a lot of realism feel into it.
Those are the surprising parts,
and not a whole lot of over-the-top action, which is good. They leveled up.
I would love to see BTS on those actual choreographed fight scenes.
He did them himself.
Yeah,
he did all that.
Oh no, he did all himself. Yeah. That's why I'm like, I would love to see Bob practicing for that, just because he delivers it really well.
Now here's my discrepancies.
Okay.
Christopher Lloyd, he's like 80.
But you're happy to see him.
Yeah, going in and out of time, things of that nature. But to be, in the garage, maybe in a secluded area where he could see a bunch of people, but not to get shot once in this big ass area.
It was fun watching him in his retirement home community where he's got the shotgun ready to go.
That's believable. That works for me. But to be walking around, I mean, like I said, 80 years old, 90 years old, with 4 shotguns, you know, carrying those around, loaded and all that other stuff. And then I'm like, I mean, I could see him. I thought he was going to get shot and get killed or something like that in Blades of Glory or something like that. Nah,
It was surprising.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it, but yeah, that was one of the little like reaches. Like you kind of got to give him a little bit of discrepancy on that. I will agree with that.
Yeah, and then there's the car scene. The car scene, it was good action.
Yeah.
You know, but they're shooting the shit out of this fucking car. He doesn't get hit once.
No.
You know, he's laying down,
that's
shooting the Uzi and everything else, and that's fine. Good action.
Yeah.
But he didn't get shot once.
That's true.
And then I hate it when you see a severe car accident and the main character gets out with like 1 or 2 scratches.
He was in the trunk. Yeah.
Well, he came out of the trunk and then he was like, no seatbelt.
But that's what I mean. Like he was laying down like this, facing forward as his car like flips and stuff.
And then it flips like 8 times, and everybody else gets fucked up.
Yep. Bad.
Fucked up. And then he got like a few scratches. It's like, oh, I'm gonna tell my story, but the guy kills over before he can
That was a funny little moment.
It was a good funny moment.
It was nice little just funny moments.
You know,
where
but
it was
like. That's where it got way too Fast and the Furious to be, where you got these big car accidents and nobody barely gets a scratch. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like that's like a disbelief that we suspend for like a lot of movies.
Yeah.
So I don't count it against it. I don't count it against it.
Yeah, I do. I do. You know, if you're gonna be in a car accident, let's get fucked up in the car.
Full disclosure, I am a very big Bob Odenkirk fan, just in general. So I think I may have a little bit more leniency towards everything with him because I was like, I love that Bob's doing that. Good for him. Good for him.
And then you have let's talk about the villain, the main villain or whatever in the story. Who's
Russian mob boss?
Russian mob boss, but I believe it's his brother.
Yeah.
That gets fucked up. He doesn't get killed.
Yeah, I don't know what. That was a weird part of the movie where like the Escalade that they're in like slams into a barricade and then the bus just stops and waits for them. Which I'm like, why did the bus stop? Then you see all these guys getting up, like, why isn't the bus driver going? Like, why is this? Nobody's getting off the bus. Like, nothing's happening here. We're not going to stop.
And then she opens the bus
and
for
then
them. Yeah. And it's like, okay, cool. And then they're harassing the people on the bus and whatever. But they're not really harassing anybody on the bus but the girl that's just sitting there.
Yeah, and I did like his line, like, she's gonna make it home safe tonight.
Yeah.
Like, he has this displaced anger from like going and finding this couple that had robbed them, and then to find out that they're like just a desperate couple that's trying to support a kid. Like, he feels bad for them, and then you get the flashback later where like the gun's empty that she had, and it's like, oh, that's why he didn't, beat her with the golf club. Like, he felt bad for them in that moment. But early on, it just, again, it's the epitome of a beta, just very early on there. And it really sucks you into that line of the story. I like the little flip where it does, where he flips the thing down in his office on the radio, and this is the other CIA guy or whatever. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, and then bus scene was amazing. I thought that was the best fight scene out of the whole.
It was a great fight. Like that. That's where I'm very curious about.
That's where it showed some realistic ass kicking.
Yeah.
Guys getting hurt, but at the same time delivering that ass whooping kind of thing.
And I think if you're gonna like I think that's where I get on board with Bob Odenkirk as an action guy. In that moment, in that scene, it's like, okay, this felt kind of weird, and I wasn't sure, but now he's pulling it off. I'm very surprised he's pulling it off. Like when a buddy of mine talked me into watching it. When he described it, I was like, "Oh, that doesn't." He's like, "No, it's good, man. You need to watch it. It's a really good movie." And I wasn't disappointed. I was not disappointed.
It's still a good movie.
Yeah,
still has some discrepancies. I want to say the biggest one would probably be the villain. I'm not really feeling his need to get revenge for his brother getting his ass whooped on a bus.
He had some flair to him.
He does.
It's a flair to him.
And he portrays himself as a badass by killing the one guy for no apparent reason, just to show that he could kill somebody and all this.
That was pretty awesome. He like stabs the wine glass, and he breaks off the stem and like stabs it through his head. And then goes and slaps the guy in the face with it. I'm just like that. I don't want to prove myself that hard in life ever. I don't feel like I don't have that metal to me.
Just killing anybody, just to prove that you can kill somebody is.
Well, with their face stuck through my hand. Let's not take off killing somebody off the table, but.
It's still, he didn't really portray himself as a main villain in the movie.
No, he's like singing karaoke.
Yeah.
Very early on in his club, which, again, that's why he's proven himself. That's why he does the whole thing, because the other Russian mob guys are like calling him out for that. He's like, no, I'm still a badass.
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Yeah.
It was good. I liked it.
It was all right. it had like again his discrepancy, but overall I give it like a 7.
I agree with
Again,
that.
7 is I think is a pretty solid number compared to all the other action movies. That
Good
suck.
sign for me. I didn't mind rewatching it to like talk about it. Like, because I watched it when it first came out, and granted that was just a couple months ago, but still I hadn't watched it again, and like rewatching it, I was just as entertained as I was the first time.
Yeah, ending was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought the C4 explosion at the end
With the
that
plexiglass.
was a little much because it shattered the glass, pushed him back, no scratches.
I mean, yeah, you kind of there was a few areas, and that's with every action movie. I feel like you kind of got to suspend some disbelief just a little bit to get into that. But it wasn't. I wasn't upset about it. But yeah, when he pulls it out, you're like, nah, that's not gonna work.
I mean, the C4 thing is right here.
Yeah, it was. Well, it's getting splattered by the bullets that are hitting it. It's like, well, if that's gonna do that, that should have done a lot more when it blew it back at him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's fine. Overall, fine. He's okay.
It could have been. It could have been more. It could have made more sense.
Yeah.
How about that one? It's not that it could have been worse or better. It could have made more sense
I'd agree with
compared
that.
to the other action movies.
Yeah.
It did kind of set it up for a sequel,
I kind of felt like that.
and so usually with sequels, the second one is good, but if they make it a trilogy, it's usually that third one that's very, very over the top.
Yeah, the Godfather rule.
So, yeah, most definitely.
It plays out a lot.
What do you think is gonna happen in the second one? What do you think? Did they leave anything off? Because they said they mentioned the backstory,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know if they're leading off from the backstory because he killed the Russian guy.
He killed the Russian guy, but you could have his superiors come after him. He gets that call when they're shopping for the new house and they're asking about like, does it have a basement? Because they did the whole secured basement thing.
But I think it was more or less like he tends to get himself mixed into shit that he's not supposed to be getting himself into.
It seems like that. And then he got into this, but it seems like moving forward, he may be going back to like special ops like that. And his wife seems because originally she was like that was in the past. He was apologizing for like I didn't mean to put you through this again. I'll never put you through this again. And then like the next scene basically is like he's gonna do it, and she seems okay with it. Because I mean, again, she didn't seem that into the beta that he had become a little bit. It's like we don't, he's talking about like we haven't even embraced and blah 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 blah. So it kind of feel like maybe it turns her on a little bit. Like I feel like it's gonna go if they do something more, it'll be completely just him back to work in a more special ops sort of environment instead of it coming in.
He blew up his I guess the factory that he owns.
Yeah, his father-in-law.
Owns
that he bought from him.
Which speaking of which, Michael Ironside, where the fuck he been?
I don't know.
You gained a little weight. But,
He did get a little weight.
where the fuck? This. I mean, you did.
He's getting older. You know what? I'm not upset at the Larry Davids of the world. Like they made it up and they just kind of pop back up every once in a while.
Everyone wants to pay taxes and shit like that.
I mean, I'll be honest. Larry David's my spirit animal. Like if I could achieve that in a career, that would be amazing. It's like pop up, do what I want.
Well, I'm trying to think of the last movie I've even seen Michael Ironside in, and I can't really think of one.
Not the last 15 years. I don't feel like.
And then who's the female main actress?
I'm blanking.
Yeah. Where the fuck she been?
I don't know. She hadn't popped up anything in a while. It was a very, for the most part, unknown cast. I feel like the villain was a main guy. I've seen him in things, but again, couldn't put a figure on. And I should have researched that and to figure out where he was coming from.
Yeah.
But I know I've seen him in things. He basically found the Bob Odenkirks of the world that have just kind of been like on the outskirts of things and pulled them all in, which is pretty nice.
That makes sense. I think he was the only one that was really actually selling the movie.
Yeah,
I mean, the acting is not Oscar worthy acting.
No,
but it's believable acting. Like he had one son that went in and out of his anger and his issues or whatever, and then had the little girl that played obviously a little girl, which sparked this whole thing to begin with because he was looking for the bracelet.
Yeah.
That was underneath the fucking couch this whole time.
Yeah, that was a weird moment.
It's almost like if you cleaned your house, you could have avoided the whole plot of the movie to begin with.
Well, he wanted the watch back. He did want the watch.
Yeah, and he got the watch, but
well, he didn't get to take out his vengeance the way he wanted to on that couple, and that's how the whole bus thing happens. Is well, God closes one door, he opens another, or whatever the line was.
And then the whole movie is based on coincidence.
Yeah, basically, because he gets that one Russian messed up in that, and then that,
All this is again, it all could have been avoided if the bus driver just didn't open up the damn door.
I mean, you really needed that to happen for the movie to happen.
Yeah. It's those kind of coincidences in movies that kind of.
I'm not mad it hinged on that, but it definitely hinged on that for sure.
It's still not bad. It's still a good movie. Still good acting, good action in it.
No, I'm glad we're doing this for you actually, because I feel like it's one of those movies where like most people won't watch just by scroll. And I feel bad saying that, but just scrolling by, reading like the blurb or whatever. Like I don't know that you. I wouldn't have picked it out. I scrolled by it when it came out. And I'm like, I love Bob Odenkirk, but that sounds weird.
I most definitely heard about the film as it was being made when it was coming out, and I'm like, okay, Bob Odenkirk doing action. Let's see where it's at. You know, so I was most definitely interested in the film.
Yeah.
And then I'm most definitely interested in a sequel if they could just fix some of the discrepancies in the first one. Like, don't have his dad come doing all these action moves when he's 90 years old.
I mean,
I'm not trying to come down too much on him.
I defend the nursing home scene though. I just really like that.
The nursing home thing is good because he's not really moving around. He's killing the two guys, whatever.
Yeah, it was weird with all the shotguns. It
walks through this building just with 4 shotguns, trying to cap a bunch of guys, and not get hit once.
No,
not once did he get popped. His brother gets shot.
Yeah,
but not him.
No.
So.
But yeah, that's I feel like you got to do that with almost every action movie though. Like that's part of that disbelief that like, how do all the bullets miss the main character? How does that always happen? Yeah. But it does because the story's got to keep going.
And he's not even the main character.
That's true.
And then of course the cat is just in the middle of this whole thing, just going down, right?
I was very happy with how that cat played it.
Or we're not going to talk about the cat?
We talk about the cat.
We got to talk about the cat. Because he gets arrested with cat food.
Well, yeah. Well, that cat is like in that building that he buys that he was working at from his father-in-law. Mm-hmm. Was that like a cat that? I feel like we needed more backstory on the cat.
Well, okay, if I remember,
is the cat already there?
No, I remember correctly. I think the daughter asked for a cat, right?
She did ask for a cat at the beginning, right, to protect the house.
And then he just finds this random stray cat.
It's just in that place where he works, up in the ventilation. Again, I'm like, we could have used some establishment
and gunshots.
Yeah. We could have established that cat earlier in the film.
They missed the cat.
Yeah. They can't hit the cat. Pete will be all over you.
Yeah. Well, we can kill dogs in one movie, but not cats.
That's true. That's true.
All right, Patrick. It was a good review of Nobody. It's still a good film. Go watch it.
Watch it.
And watch nobody get shot except one guy.
Well, the bad guys get shot.
Patrick, it's been a pleasure.
It's been awesome, James.
It's James Humphrey with the Socialist Productions New Reviews. We'll catch you next time. See you guys.
Awesome.